Assets versus products. Assets, what are assets? Okay, first of all, this assets has nothing to do with the English word assets. Do not try to compare it to the English word asset. It has no relationship with it. I will give you a more appropriate name later. For now, just understand that assets has nothing to do with English word asset. But then what it is? In Siebel, when a product is sold, then let's say 20 laptops were sold. Then it will create 20 assets, 20 asset records. For lack of a better word, I would say the probably better word is pieces, sold piece. So there are 20 sold pieces, right? We'll create a separate record for each and every sold piece. P-I-E-C-E, piece. So there are 20 sold pieces. That sold piece is an asset. The difference is this. Let's say one company manufactures laptops, Inspiron 1300. When the order is getting placed here, or when the opportunity is getting opportunity is being created, then here, let's say that company has 1 million Inspiron 1140s. How many records should appear here? 1 million or just one? The answer is just one. Because customer is not saying which particular piece he wants to buy. Customer just tells the model number and you go by the model number. So you don't want to allow the rep to see all the 1 million pieces and get him confused. Just show him one record and he will put that one record and put the quantity as 1 or 20 or 30. Fair enough? If you have 3 models, you'll put 3 records here with quantity in front of each and every one, right? That's how all the orders are, right? But once it is sold, just think, after 1 year, the customer comes back and says, my laptop is not working properly. You sold him 20 pieces. Do you think all the rest of the 19 pieces also need the service?
Maybe a bit, but right now, no.
No. Sure. Then the sold piece becomes important because you provide service on the basis of the piece, not on the basis of the model. You need to have a physical database of each and every piece you sold. If you have sold 20 million pieces, so be it. You need to maintain the record of each and every piece, right? Now, let's look at some properties and see whether those are properties of the asset, well, sold piece or the product. Okay. First is price. The price is of the asset or of the product. What do you think? One of the important attributes one of the important points you must note is this. Certain things, certain things, let's go over the attributes for my thought. So on this price thing, probably the question should be which price. One price is Dell. When you go to Dell website, they start with the price. They say this is the price. But then when you finally buy the product, it can be at a different price depending upon the configurations that you buy. But there are many other reasons too. One is discounts. They might give you a discount. That discount may not be given to the other person even for the same configuration. Taxes, shipping costs, right? And then coupons. Some customers might be applying certain coupons. They'll get that more discount than, right? There are many reasons because of which the price for the sold asset could be different. But are there 2 prices being talked about here, or there is only one price is question here? Well, there are 2 prices. One is the price at which it is presented. The second one is the price at which it is sold. Okay. But let's say it is Christmas season. So Dell says, okay, you know what we should do is we should jack up the price of each and every dash, product or asset. Product. So when they are allocating the price as part of their planning, they will allocate it to the product, not to the asset. Making sense? The asset will be having the base price from this product price, and then there will be customization, then there will be coupons, then there will be taxes and blah blah blah. So asset will have another price. You see, both are called as price. At what price did you buy? That's asset's price. At what price it is at the Dell website. Both are called as price in English language, but both are different things. Other point, same problem occurs in product and asset. We call both the things as product. Hey, what product do you have? Can you show me? And what product did you buy from AT&T store yesterday? iPhone in both the cases. But one is a product, one is a sold product or a sold piece or an asset in Siebel. So because of English, it's difficult to determine, whether there are two entities or whether there's one entity. Actually, there are two entities very clearly. We told the difference between product and asset before, right? That is the difference between these two things. To make the things more clear, I'll give you another example. Let's say there is an email template. That is what you're supposed to use whenever you send an email to your friends. Okay, it has two fields, CC field, BCC field. It has a special stationery, and at the bottom it is written thanks, your name. So if you are sending, your name will get inserted. If I am sending, my name will get inserted. Making sense? So that template, email template, you send 20 emails, I send 30 emails. How many emails do you see total going out of this system? 50. But how many templates remain? One. Just one. Not two templates, just one. Because the name is a variable, right, which gets the data from dynamically. And then you enter other things also, right? Hi, how are you, sir? Thank you very much. All these things might change, but template remains one. So every email is going to be different. In the second email, you say blah 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 blah. You Mofo C4 whatever, right? Third email, you could be writing different things. Thanks, your name will get inserted. Blah blah blah, right? Even each and every email will be different, but template is same. After 1 year, how many templates do you see? One. How many emails do you see? 100,000. Think. 100,000 is a transactional entity. Those are emails, actual emails. Template is a template. That's not an actual email. That is used to create this. There is a clear difference in the master data and the transactional data in this case. Emails that are sent out are transactions, which are conducted by individual reps. 800 reps sitting around the country sending emails using that same template. It is clearly incomprehensible in this case. Template, email. Template, email. There is no confusion here. Product works the same way. Product is a master data. Assets are created every day. Using the same product, we create so many assets every day. 1,000 products sold today, 1,000 assets created. Right? Some very old assets died. They're deleted from the system or they're moved to another archive system. Right? But the same product is still getting sold, right? All these things are at the asset level operations, not the product level. Product level operations are also there. Some product is getting phased out. Out of 5 products that Cisco sells, one is not going to be sold anymore. Do you think they should remove the assets also? No. They might still be requiring to service those assets. So assets is assets, products is products. Different things altogether. And these assets, how bad this misnomer could be, this could be, but this is what it is. In Siebel, sold PCs, each and every piece is called as asset. Making sense? Okay. So product is product. So now price. Okay. Lot number. That this particular product is built in lots, right? 1 to 100, 100 to 200, or March lot, April lot, June lot. It is a property of the asset or of the product. The lot number. The lot means that these products are made in lots, right? जो मैन्युफैक्चर होते हैं कि जून 1 से लेके जून 15 तक लॉट बना था, राइट? जून 16 से लेके जून 30 तक लॉट बना था. सो जब प्रोडक्ट्स सेल हो जाते हैं या मतलब व्हाटएवर, हमें लॉट नंबर कहीं पे मेंटेन करना पड़ता है. कहाँ मेंटेन करेंगे? प्रोडक्ट लेवल पे मेंटेन होना चाहिए फील्ड या एसेट लेवल पे?
Maybe asset level पे होना चाहिए.
Okay, just let me speak this thing. So it's a good riddle. It's becoming a very good riddle.
The next.
So it's a good riddle. ठीक है? Lot number according to me should be maintained at the asset level, because when you're selling, when the rep is selling, he will see only one record. Let's say there is a January lot, February lot, March lot. He will not see 3 records. On one record, he will not see the lot information. Right? Actually, he should be able to sell it whether or not it belongs to February lot, or whether or not it belongs to March. He should not care. He should be able to sell it. Whatever was manufactured, 1 million records, whatever 1 million were Raptors were manufactured, he should see only one record here. Here, he should see only one record in this product peak applet. Right? So, but when the asset is this thing, then they can track. They may want to track. Okay, as part of what lot was it made? Right? As part of what lot was it made? It should be. So asset has some relationship with the lot, but product does not. But question is what he asked. Okay, asset has the lot information, but before the product is sold, where will you maintain this information? So think about it. But one more thing, in all this discussion, we are assuming that there is only one model, only one product type, Inspiron 1140, no customizations possible, just for the ease. Of course, business is much more difficult than what we are trying to understand here. Okay, na? Wherever you go, you'll have to really apply the hell out of your mind to understand and do business there. Where this guy is going, it's a power system. You know how many customizations can be done to a power system? Hundreds. It could be more complex than a laptop. The kind of services that can be provided, the kind of issues that can come are very different. The kind of business processes that we need to maintain to service $1 million power system could be very different, is definitely very different from the kind of processes we need to have for servicing $500 laptops. Right? Preventive maintenance, all these big ideas, they're only applicable to big systems, right? Right? There's so many other things that will be applicable. Complex agreements. Complex agreements will be very complex. They won't be very simple. And anyway, but then where should the lot information be maintained before the product is sold? It's a good question actually. In the ERP system. It's not part of the CRM system, it's a part of the factory planning system, inventory planning system. Actually, in inventory also, they might just maintain a number. In the factory planning, they'll say, okay, we manufactured this thing. So they'll be allocating a number to each and every manufactured laptop. And when, so in CRM system, that backend business process system, that is not Oracle. So that's backend business process system will send the data. We have now 100,000 laptops. Next it will say now we have 100,010 laptops. Now we have 100,020 laptops. So it will keep on replenishing the number. 5 sold, it will say okay, now we have 100,000 to 30 minus 5, so 100,025 laptops. It will keep on changing that number, the number that is here. You could have that number here, or you may not have that number depending upon the CRM functionality. You might simply just want to know whether at least one is there or not. Right? So CRM system, many of these things that we are discussing, they are on the borderline of CRM and ERP, and they get very interesting. ERP systems maintain those. Just as it is sold, it will go to the ERP system and to the order fulfillment system. Order fulfillment system will submit a request to get one of the laptops from the ERP system into order fulfillment guy's hand. He will allocate that number. At that point, it will create an asset back into Siebel for service purposes. Order fulfillment guy, which is a backend business process system, will get the shipping address from the CRM system. CRM system will also send him the person name, address. It does not need to send a price to the order fulfillment guy, right? It will also send the packing slip, whatever was sold as part of that order. Like, it may not just be the laptop, right? It may be the RAM, everything, right? If you look at the packing slip, it will send the packing slip details also. Okay? Packing slip details, last name, first name, shipping address. That is all what order fulfillment guy needs. He will get this thing, request. Same CRM system will send a request to inventory planning system that okay, dispatch one to the order fulfillment guy. It will release one to the order fulfillment guy. Whatever the asset number is, it will put it back in the asset record in Siebel. Okay. Similarly, CRM system will send one request to the revenue system. पैसे बन गए $2,000, money made. Revenue system will get this. Revenue system will also maintain a record. It will send, well, it will charge a credit card. It will follow up that thing, right? The order fulfillment system will not dispatch depending on the process in your company, but this makes a lot of sense. It will not dispatch till the revenue system, that is financial system, gives it a message that money has been received from the credit card. It went through. Then it will pack it and go. And you know what? There is one more system it will receive from the CRM system. Next day shipping, 2-day shipping, 20-day shipping, ground shipping, DHL, FedEx, whatever. Making sense? So all this, so there are a lot of things that you will receive. I mean, you can keep thinking, ye bhi aayegi, ye bhi aayegi. You can keep thinking that way. I mean, now that you have the, so these are the 4 systems which are interacting with each other to make sure your order comes your way, right? Order fulfillment guy might have to interact with multiple other systems to do its job. He needs a box, he needs a phone, he needs the laptop. If the power cords are being maintained in another's inventory, then he will need the power cord, right? So there could be, depending upon the way the whole business is laid out, the whole systems are laid out, he would be receiving everything from different systems or from just lesser systems than that. This is how it will get delivered. So lot number in CRM system belongs to assets. In ERP systems, it belongs to the well, in that system, I don't know what the nomenclature will be. Would you like to call them as products there? I don't know. I'm not well versed in ERP systems, but I have the right containers. अगर आप भी अब जाएंगे ना कि SAP में जाएंगे, आप कहोगे यार एक बात बताना जरा, देखना प्रोडक्ट वगैरह कैसे तुम कंसेप्चुअलाइज करते हो. What entities do you maintain for products? They'll say lots, products, product lines, product items, product types. ये सब मेंटेन करते हैं. These are different entities. You have the right containers. Containers समझते हो? प्लेस होल्डर समझते हो? अब आपको सिर्फ फैक्ट्स चाहिए, नॉलेज आपकी आ चुकी है, कंसेप्ट आपको समझ में आ चुका है. So as you can clearly see, assets and products are 2 different things. Okay, this company, it maintains a price list for every season. For summers it has a different price list, for winters it has a different price list. Okay, they sell clothes and they have a different price list for every season for different types of clothes. Do you think this price list should be attached to the product or it should be attached to the assets? A company wants to release a price list. They have a price list. For example, if you go to Rouse, then you will see they have a price list for everything, right? If you tell her if you buying brinjals or bangan or eggplants or whatever you call it, then she'll look at the price list, she'll put the price in, and then she will weigh, and that is the price that is used to. So this is a price list. They maintain the price list of everything. They have 2 price lists, one for summers, one for winters. This price list is going to be attached to the products, or it's going to be attached to the assets, or if there is something else that you should be attaching it to. Actually, for this we need to understand the concept of price list. I will not go into that, but at a high level, product should be attached to the price list, not the asset. And she's best, she's saying that something else other than the product would make more sense, because product, out of the entire price list, product will be having, one of the entries will be for that product, right? She says that something, right? Let's say there are 100 prices written in the price list, 100 items and their prices, and yours is item number 53. So item number 53 in the summer price list will be released. Item number 53 price is 100. In the winter price list, item number 53 is priced at 110. That's how the price list works. So it's okay. It can be attached to the product, and it can be attached to other stuff also, like a higher thing than the product.
Yeah.
That's what you want to say, right? Yeah. But definitely not assets.
Yeah.
Right? Another very important riddle is, a customer comes into the bank and opens an account, and then he he deposits $50 in the account and he leaves. What is this account in CEDO? First of all, what all entities do you see? So you're saying because a person came in, there is a contact entity for sure. Because you open an account, there's an account entity for sure. Then there is a third thing you said, that opportunity also. Okay, let me talk about opportunity first. Do you think there is an opportunity entity involved here? What about you, Nitin? What do you? Opportunity is something in which we pursue. In this scenario, typically sales rep of that bank doesn't pursue anything. Do they call you back? Hey, you know what? Yesterday you came to open an account, but you did not open. Can you please come back? I'm going to give you some discounts. They don't, right? So there is no opportunity as such. Now, it doesn't mean that Bank of America can't do it. In India, some of the banks do that.
Yeah.
So in that case, they do have the process of around opportunity as well. So they have opportunity manager. We clearly see this is an example that two different banks doing the business in a two different manners, right? But anyway, we go back to our original example. In our original example, there is no opportunity because there is no pursuing, and we know that in America, no banks call you back, no bank representatives call you back to say, you know what, like you were about to open a bank account, but you didn't know, I was wondering if you would like to, blah blah blah. Nothing like that happens, right? Right. So there is no opportunity. Okay, contact is definitely there. What about this contact and account? Are they two different things or they are one? We're discussing about bank. I'll just deviate from the discussion. Actually, does everybody understand the question? Actually, model level POV. Yeah. It looks like कि final जो assets sell हुआ, like let's say the question is, let's say Honda sells this thing, right? The products. So in the product pick captured, there will be Honda Accord CX. Of course, Honda is not the product. Accord is also not the product. CX130, the typical model number that and last thing. So Honda Accord CX130 is the entire product that they sell. Then when they sell it, after that they customize a number of things, right? And then so that the whole thing is sold. We call it customized CX130. We can call it. So customized CX130 is the asset, or CX130 is the asset. Like the asset will be attached to CX130, or the asset will be attached to customize this thing.
Let me explain. Like in case of car, it can.
Although, customized, this thing is the entire sold thing, right? We should be creating an asset for this whole customized CX130. This looks like the only option. This looks like to be the only option. Actually, both could be possible. Asset could be at the CX130 level or at the customizations level. Customized CX130 level. There is a clear difference, right? There are two things wrong. You know what? The warranty for CX130, the whole thing could be different, and the additional parts that you're buying, the wheels and everything, could be different. And there are additional products that you bought, so there could be additional assets that you buy basically. So one asset CX130, the other assets. So this is one possibility. Other possibility is one big customized asset. Okay. Third possibility is one asset and the rest not as separate assets but as sub asset. All three possibilities are there. All three you probably have. When the situation comes in front of you, you'll be able to weigh these three things. Which one is a better thing to do? You will be able to do that. You need to have a lot of information. It depends on the business process, different requirements, different other requirements, different constraints on the systems, other systems, our systems, right? Regulations, so on and so forth. But any of these things will exist. Similarly, in case of laptop. Right? In case of laptop, you customize the laptop, and then that customized laptop could be one asset, or it could be again the. But let's talk about Dell only. That is a beautiful example. Actually, in case of Dell and Honda, there is a difference. CX130 engine main thing components of the CX130 remain the same every time CX130 is sold. Whereas in case of Dell laptop, main things of the laptop can change too. Actually, Dell laptop model is at the chassis level, which is nothing. In Dell, product configurations are constrained by the chassis. This is not true in case of CX130. They sell the CX130 with different color. That's it, with different metallic rims, but not the important components like engine and all those things. And sometimes those too. We have to understand. I mean, these are complex things. Different exceptions exist, but you can clearly see the difference, right? At least just within the scope of the discussion. One is a bigger thing, and just peripheral small things. One is the actual things are the actual thing is nothing, and main components are yet to be chosen by the customer, which is a different concept, right? So you will be creating assets at different level. I mean, it will become a big riddle where you should, at what level you should be maintaining the first asset, and at what level you should be maintaining the different this thing. Actually, in case of second case, Dell, the customized laptop should make the asset.
Not battery.
Not
battery. That happened with me. They said that we don't cover battery.
And if there are rules like this, like battery is not covered, then without battery. So you have to define the customized laptop till some line like this processor, this is the laptop, main laptop. Bag is not the part of the laptop. It's a separate asset on which we don't provide any warranty, on which we don't even take a customer support call. But it is nevertheless a sold thing, and we don't even create an asset record. By the way, there is a concept called as assetable products. I forgot to mention that. Like bag is not an assetable product. You don't need to maintain the assets because you don't plan to provide service to them. Okay. Now we will come back to our customer account thing. Okay, contact is contact, last name, first name. What about account? What is accounts in Siebel, Dipesh? Just saying that in case of, let's say, Yahoo, if you go to Yahoo website, you see so many companies which have put their ads, right? So they are saying that, let's say, Netflix has opened the account, is put the ad there. So the ad is the account, or the Netflix is the account? You're saying Netflix is the account. That's right. So the company which is dealing with Yahoo is the account for Yahoo, right? Now my question to you is, when a customer walks into the bank and opens an account, that account that he opens, is it the same thing as Netflix? This contact comes in and he opens an account. So this contact and account are two different things, because one contact can open multiple accounts, right? We know that from our business knowledge, and one account could be owned by multiple contacts. So one thing is sure, and if one account is closed by one contact, let's say one contact has multiple accounts. If he closes one account, the rest of the accounts don't get closed. That means that closing is the property of the account, not of the contact, right? Right? If the contact dies, all the accounts get closed, right? So we clearly see that there is a difference between the contact and this account. Now the question is, what are these accounts? Which entity does this account entity map to? Which Siebel entity does this account business entity map to? That account will be an asset, because, and what will be account? If it is a company opening the account, in this case, in this hypothetical example, John Smith, it does not belong to a company, right? He's just an individual. So there is no account here, Siebel account here. There is a Siebel asset here. That account will be an asset. The product will be, they will, like when the customer service rep or the sales rep is entering the transaction, he will see 3 or 4 different types of accounts that will be available in the pick applet. By the way, how many products do you see in a bank here? You know what? Hundreds. You must be thinking 3 types, right? Savings, loan, car loan. They have hundreds types of accounts. Yeah, they have 100 types of accounts. Savings 4-5 तरीके के होते हैं. Checking भी 100 तरीके के होते हैं.
US dollar, Canada banking account.
Yeah, FCNR account. Which currency? You might be having different. But then that FCNR account, जब आप open करोगे, then it will be a property of the asset. Which currency does it belong to? FCNR will be same.
They don't do that. They open separate account.
So if you, because there will be 2 separate assets. But then when they're selling from the product level, I'm just talking at the product level, they'll see only one FCNR account. And one of the important attributes they have to put while selling that product is which currency that asset will belong to, right? So anyway, so that account is an asset. The name suggests it's an account, but it is not an account. So don't go by the name. Industry names for the business entities will be very different from this, from Siebel entity. I mean, it will be something else. Okay. Uh, it's a DU. So do you understand this? Like it's an exercise actually, not a DUT. I'm asking, let's say I'm making a line. Tell me it's right or wrong. Looking at the asset record, we maintain assets in Siebel, asset records in Siebel, because looking at the asset records, we can see if there is anything wrong with the asset. So looking at the asset record makes us, helps us find out, if there is anything wrong with the asset. Is it right? Okay. So what is the relationship between asset and service request then? I've been talking about assets, service request. Then what is the relationship? In what context do I talk about it? How does asset help? How does maintaining asset records help in terms of service request? So basically it helps in logging service requests. Logging means entering service requests and attaching to those assets. And also it helps in looking at the asset before you log the service request to see what is covered and what is not covered. So asset has a child view in which the warranty can be seen. That's where we look at actually. Okay. This is where they will enter the service request for the asset. Somewhere here there will be a view where the warranty will be written. Okay. Where is this?
Go down.
Yeah, this is where the warranties will be entered. Okay, so he can look at these warranties, then see what all is covered, go back to service request and enter it here. That's what he can do. Why can't he enter the service request for the product? The question is, let's say you buy a laptop, and then a laptop has many, like let's say NVIDIA graphic card. So laptop is the asset. So NVIDIA graphic card is the child product of the asset, or what is it? Okay. The answer is, it is the child asset, because that NVIDIA graphic card is also a piece. It's an instance of a sold product, right? So that is the sub asset. Now, so there is a concept of sub asset in Siebel, which is obviously not here in this version, but then it is there. And conceptually also that's what we need. So your ability does not even lie in looking at whether there is sub. It does lie there, but you should have an additional ability also. Look at the world entities or the business entities outside and come out with the entity diagram for Siebel. Entity diagram and then map it to Siebel. I'm mapping it to Siebel right now. But then before even mapping, I should realize that is a sub asset, not a sub product. Once I know that it's a sub asset, then I can see whether we have something in Siebel. In this case, we don't. But in some other cases, we do. In some other applications of Siebel, in certain versions of Siebel, we do. Okay? So, making sense? Right? So, just by listening to this thing, you should be able to see that those are sub assets just here. Okay? See, this is the one. This is the one. Asset number and product. Right? This is a complete asset record. Right? This is the one. So, this version also has it. Right? It could be a little different from what requirements are. Right? So asset to asset relationship is a complex relationship, just as account to account relationship is a complex relationship. Any relationship is a complex. You need to map the relationships properly. Okay, so you need to think about whether it is really a best fit for your entity. Okay, but then, okay, can you guess the meaning of this view? What is this view for? What could this view be for? Let's say it this way. What could this view be for? What could be the purpose of this thing? Don't you think defects should be in the products, right?